Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Mathematics Hear Me Out. This is the channel where it's safe to talk about those things that everyone shies away from, the little taboo subjects like BDSM, intimacy, sensuality, sexuality. If it makes you a little uncomfortable, I want to talk about it. Anyways, I just want to welcome everyone who continues to follow me, is new to my channel. Just remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. So today is going to stay fairly light, and we're going to just touch on a subject that I personally feel is avoided a lot of times, especially when we begin new relationships. And it is the conversation of love language. The one thing that I many times run into with my intimacy workshops when I start talking about love languages, many of the people are like, yeah, I definitely never expressed those things in my relationship. And I like to talk about why it's really important to know your person's love language and also know your own, because it certainly makes it a lot easier for communication. So that being said, I want to encourage you to hang out. It's not going to be a super long video. I've actually decided that moving forward that my videos are going to be a little bit more like 15 to 20 minute-ish, because I tend to get on tangents and lose track of whatever it is that I'm talking about. So, anyways, that being said, today is going to be a very simple topic, but also so important. You really truly need to know your person's love language. It is the best form of communication and the best way to know what is expected from you and what you want from someone else. So, also because I really like spirituality and astrological signs, I'm also going to just kind of give you a little inside scoop on your astrological sign and the most likely love language based on that sign. Okay, we're going to start.
Fluent in your love language, learning your love language. I know I don't speak your language, but I want to know more, baby. Fluent in your love language, learning your...
Okay, so just a simple Google search. Those are the 5 common love languages that are going to come up. And I like to talk about these things, like I said, during my workshops, because I believe that if more people were just a little more open to discussing these sort of things right from the beginning of the relationship, 1st to 5th date, you start discussing things of a little more substance. A lot of problems later that will inevitably come up could be avoided. Like when you realize that you maybe assumed something about somebody or the way that they operate. It's so much easier if you just, talk about it. So I personally am a huge advocate for nipping things in the bud, but if that were the case, then I wouldn't have workshops to do, right? However, I do like to discuss like what are the 5 love languages, right? Individually. And I think it's really interesting what the internet, this is the internet for me. What the internet looks at your astrological sign and says, if you're this sign, then you're likely. And I found it to be fairly accurate based on my interactions with so many people, because yes, I'm that annoying person that's like, what's your sign? Because I like all that stuff, and I do think that there's some correlation to some of it. So not all, I mean, obviously we all are our own individual unique people, but in some ways, hate to tell you, some of it happens to fall in line, and it's pretty accurate if you ask me. Anyways, so again, this is why my videos have to be like cut a little shorter, because tangents. Anyways, so the first love language is words of affirmation. Most people who enjoy words of affirmation, it can be something like, I like your hair. I think you're super smart. You did an amazing job on that report. Usually some form of a compliment, or talking about that person in a way that makes them feel lifted and better about themselves. Most people enjoy compliments here and there, but there are people who enjoy that just a little bit more. And, or they need some form of validation, meaning like, there are people who, in order to know that you care about them and that you love them, they need to hear you say, I love you, and a lot of us are preconditioned that way. That's just how society has made us, that no one could possibly love you unless you say it, right? Which I won't get away from it, but I do think that is something that we have been trained as a society to believe, that there's not another way of knowing if someone truly cares about you. If they love you, they'll tell you. But through these love languages, you will find that you're like, maybe the sign was there all along, and you're just digging in the wrong place, and you're not looking at how your person operates. So that's why I say you should find out how that person perceives affection and adoration, and then how they give love and adoration, and that kind of helps squash some of the confusion down the road when you feel neglected in other ways. It's just a thought. Okay, so the second love language. Sorry, sometimes my brain's like, when I see the camera, I have like a whole speech and then it goes blank. Anyways, the second love language is quality time. So obviously there's the building someone up and compliments all the time, and I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Shout it from the rooftop. If that's you, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. But some people prefer quality time. It is just like it says, quality time. So if somebody's trying to spend a lot of time with you, and they enjoy your company, and they want to do things and be with you and go places, that could very well be their love language. That is their way of saying, I love you, I love you, I love you, without being on the roof of their house, or saying it at a megaphone, or, making a mixtape. I know people don't do that anymore. But if they did, that's another words of affirmation I would say, is like a good song. I'm definitely all about, like, when I hear a good song, sometimes when I'm jogging, I'm like, ooh, and like, I would say lyrics to a song is also words of affirmation, but not everybody resonates with that, and it's okay. They might just want to spend more time with you and enjoy your company and snuggle up and cuddle and all of that stuff, and get as much of your time with them as possible when they don't have to do, the other adult things like work, So if you got a person in your life that is less vocal on the compliments and building you up, but they are consistently trying to spend time with you and give you lots of attention through their time, don't shun it away. Be open to that too. So number 3 is going to be gift giving. And one of the things that I really like about gift giving is it forces you to maybe think a little on a deeper side, because I do think that on a societal level, we are made to believe that the words of affirmation are what people want in order to know that they are cared about on in a relationship, right? And the problem is that, like, words can be just that, kind of empty, and they become very standard in the sense of like, it's not very creative to say I love you when you hear it all the time, right? Especially like, it's a very common thing to say, I love you, you're pretty, you're this, you're that. Like, you can get used to certain things, right? But how cool is it when somebody does something that's like totally unexpected and it's meaningful, like a random gift, not on Christmas, not on your birthday. It's, I thought of you when I saw this and I want you to have it. I think that's really like beautiful, and I think that I guess I would be like a gift person, but I don't necessarily want just any old gift. I don't want I like unique things, things that it's obvious that it is not something that you just picked up and got for everyone in your life. It's like, this has meaning behind it, and it made me think of you specifically. I think there's nothing more beautiful when it comes to like showing somebody that you care about them, is something that's really unique to them. So I would consider myself definitely a gift person, not just in the receiving, but also in the giving department. And I really, personally, this is not about me, but I'm just giving an example because for people that like grasp it a little bit better, like I find like holidays and birthdays, like I love to make people feel very special, especially on their birthdays, because I do believe that, when it's your birthday, that you are here for a reason and you deserve to be honored. Just, it's the times of year where you're like expected to buy things like Christmases and birthdays and like random holidays like Valentine's Day. Like, I personally prefer the like random gifts, the ones that you're like not expecting, and it has nothing to do with a holiday. It's just, I saw this and it made me think of you and I want you to have it. That to me is really beautiful. And that's kind of like, if somebody who uses that as a form of affection and as a way of showing someone that they care about them versus words of affirmation or maybe even quality time, I think it's a really beautiful thing, and that it shouldn't always be looked at as like they're trying to buy your affection or your love. It's just that, especially if the gifts are really thoughtful, and it's just, that could be how they show that they're thinking about you. Especially if it's like, wow, you really do know me. It's something that they picked out and go, this is really unique to this person, and I can't imagine anyone else liking it. Right? Makes you think a little differently. It's not just because all the time somebody's trying to win you over with gifts. Sometimes it's truly because you're special and they want to show you that. So, different ways of thinking about love and affection. And maybe you'll start to see, oh, maybe I do prefer this type of affection over another. Right? That's what it's all about. So number 4 is going to be physical touch. And I know some of you automatically, your brains went, sex. While sex is physical touch, I'm actually talking about when you're first meeting somebody, 1st to 5 dates, different love languages, and to understand how somebody might communicate affection or intimacy towards you. And physical touch is a great one because I think it expresses so much without a whole lot of talking. Somebody who maybe is holding your hand physically, or has a hand rested on top of your arm, or is lightly stroking your arm, or has like a hand on your lower back, or is rubbing your back when you're talking to them. One of the reasons I personally like physical touch is that I feel that somebody who is this way tends to be a little bit more attentive to what you're actually talking about. Meaning, not only are they physically connecting with you, they're paying attention to the the words that are coming out of your mouth, your body language, and they tend to make really good eye contact. So I am definitely big into physical touch and public displays of affection for sure. Hi guys, it's me. I was going through my edited videos and found that the 5th love language was not in the edited videos. So obviously I can't have that. And the 5th love language is acts of service, and it actually happens to be one of my favorites and most overlooked, if you asked me, because society definitely does a really good job of normalizing words of affirmation and making us think a lot that the most important way or to be shown or valued in a relationship is by telling somebody that you care about them. And I think for me, acts of service is definitely a much more powerful love language because it is somebody showing you. And I think actions definitely speak louder than words a lot of times. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like someone who's kissing your ass all the time. It can be somebody who goes out of their way to do things for you, open doors, pay for your meals, not just open door, pull out a chair, wash your hair. There's a whole bunch, like a lot of professions like the service industries are considered acts of service, and I am also in that service industry where I absolutely love what I do and I love making people feel good. And I think that it speaks volumes when somebody shows you that they care about you. And some people just aren't as good about vocalizing how they feel, and they are not as they're not as capable as expressing their emotions as other people, and they get kind of like overlooked by people who can express their emotions. But I think when somebody goes out of their way to do things for you and give you their time, so I think acts of service and quality time kind of go hand in hand, because a lot of times if somebody's doing an act of service, it is something that revolves around their time as well. And I just think that that type of person is incredibly special and rare. So that being said, that is the 5th love language, and I encourage you to talk to your spouse or the person that you're dating, write it on a piece of paper, see what you think their love language is, ask them to do the same, and see how accurate you are. Meaning, how do you show somebody that you love and care about them versus how you want to receive love and be shown that you're cared about for both people. See if they line up. How well do you know your person? Anyways, this is Hear Me Out by Madam Maddox, and stay tuned because we have some awesome guest speakers coming up in the next couple of weeks where things are definitely going to get a little more dicey. All right, talk to you guys soon. Sorry for the mishap.